actually this girl's shirt that he cheated on me with and he brought home. So everybody comment thank you.
So y'all, I'm not going to say I told y'all who baby mama number 4 is, who was actually number 5, but I will say I am that man's karma. Okay?
And what's frustrating is I'm scrolling on TikTok and I just constantly see black women bashing Morgan Bailey. And what I'm confused about is that we are the #1 victims of DV. We are the #1 victims of DV. Women that look like me. We are the #1 victims, so we know how it goes. We've seen it, we felt it, we experienced it. So how could you not understand, or even if you don't understand, how could you come on here and bash her knowing that we are the #1 victims of her circumstance?
What is up, guys? Today we're filming another commentary video. Are we shocked? No. Doing the Morgan Bailey and Jaquan, or aka the random man in Atlanta, from Atlanta, controversy that's been going on. So if you're new, subscribe, like this video, comment, check out my other videos if you haven't already. Also check out my socials. If you're not keeping up with them, you're missing out. And also try post notifications, and also check out my podcast, Pretty Open-Minded, on Spotify and on YouTube. Follow me on there, and also on TikTok, because I have been on there too, but since it's getting banned, I might have to move that TikTok somewhere else, possibly eliminate. I did already make an account, so you can follow me on there. So yeah, but I do want to mention that this is going to be talking about a lot about DV. This is basically the whole story about, like, it's basically centered around DV. So if you're sensitive about that, you can watch my other videos if you would like to. Personally, I'm a little nervous to talk about it. I don't really talk about a lot of my personal stuff on here. I like to make a lot of funny videos personally, but there's been a lot of talks about if Morgan was in the wrong, or people saying that, well, like, we should have told her, like, you guys already you should have been left. There's been a lot of like mixed comments, mixed thoughts about it. So I just want to say my 2 cents on it, because I feel like it's important to talk about situations like this, especially since I've kind of already talked about like abuse and a lot of like with like Gypsy Rose, the commentary. That's basically all I really was talking about, was just her upbringing kind of. And whoever was mentioning their story, like, I basically kind of incorporate it in some of my videos, but it's more to bring awareness. So yeah, we're gonna go to the beginning. So if you don't know who Morgan Bailey is, she is a popular mom, TikTok mom. She went viral maybe like 2 years ago for opening up about being like the 6th baby mom. And I guess, I don't know if it was like a hookup situation and she just wound up pregnant, or they were in a relationship. I don't really know, okay? It sounded like it was a hookup because he was really not really in the picture in the beginning of her pregnancy. Gigi is like 2 years old by now, so she's been basically growing up on the internet while all this shit was happening. But she went viral about that, and she talks about her struggles of being a mom. She's been pretty open about her postpartum, and now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like he kind of had a part and to do with her postpartum, because I do remember in one video where she was like isolating herself, and I'm like wondering if she was like around him to make her isolate, because she wasn't like letting anyone see Gigi for a while when she was first born. And she was just kind of like isolating in her little bubble while she was suffering. So I was just wondering about that. I don't want to, like, you know, but I was just kind of thinking, since he wasn't already there for the birth, like, I wonder if she was depressed from that. But I think people were drawn to Morgan because she was very humorous, she was very relatable. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to her, especially if they are like a baby mom or have a similar situation to her.
Things haven't been the same since I went from Pound Town to Ultrasound, okay? Somebody commented on my video the other day and said Morgan looks 40 and she's only 24. Do we not all look 40 and we're 24? I'm exhausted. My toddler is giving me a run for my money. Honey, I haven't sat down since January 6, 2023 when she was born. My kid bullies me. She humbles the shit out of me. She won't pay for anything. I gotta pay for everything. I can't even watch TV in my own house. I got 3 TVs and she takes up all of them. Backyardigans on one, Dora the Explorer on the other, and Bluey on the other. Am I doing something wrong? Is this not a universal experience? I'm exhausted. I couldn't tell you the last time I got 8 hours of sleep. It was well before my crotch goblin was born, I'll tell you that much. I don't want to hear nothing about my looks anymore. Let me look 40 in peace.
Personally, I'm not a baby mom, but I did like her her videos because I thought it was very cute and I thought it was funny. I mean, it's always nice to like see like stuff like that instead of people like lying about their lives and making it look aesthetically pleasing all the time when it's literally not always like that. You want to see people that are like real and actually are like in touch with their emotions, or like willing to share that and be transparent about it, because a lot of people like to fake the funk on social media and act like their lives are perfect. I mean, we already saw that one TikToker that was recently arrested for stealing at Target because she was trying to make her life look like it was something that it wasn't, and she did it several times, and then she got caught up. And then everyone was making fun of her because they're like, oh, like I used to watch her, you know what I mean? But you like to see people that are transparent, like Morgan, from my opinion. I think she is a little bit, like, especially in the beginning of her TikTok and her blowing up. I felt like when I was listening to her, it sounded like she was very naive. We're like the same age, but it just sounded like she was very naive. I mean, the guy that she hooked up with, who was her baby father, is in his 30s, so it sounded like it was just kind of like, I wouldn't say a grooming situation, but it did sound like there was some naive shit going on, like, because they will try to scoop you up quick. Like, I don't know, they've been linking on and off since earlier this year, but Morgan was always claiming that it was co-parenting. I remember back in April when everyone was mad at her, she posted a video with Jaquan and everyone was like pissed off because they're like, girl, like, why are you with him? You said he wasn't really that good to you. You said it, this and the third about him. Why are you with him? And she just kept saying it was co-parenting. Then some stuff was going out. I don't really keep up with her fully, to be honest with you, but there was a point in time around early this year where she did have her personal intimate photos leaked by him, and I'm pretty sure it had to do with money because he does financially abuse her. He does take a lot of her money, so whatever she made on social media he was taking. For today, the present day, he posted a video of him bleeding from the top of his head, stating that Morgan was the aggressor / abuser, even though 24 hours ago, before that video came out, they were hanging out and there was like a sip and paint thing that they did at their house, and there was Gigi around.
Look how she got a child. This is what she want to do. I didn't hit you, bro. Jaquan, go to jail. Don't call the police. I didn't hit you, bro. Don't call the police. You going to jail.
And you would think that like it was, now I'm not gonna say sunshine and rainbows, but like everyone knows that if they went through like an abusive relationship, they know that there's gonna be very high highs and you're like, oh my god, we're actually getting along for once, and then there's gonna be times where it's really, really bad, and then it probably was like really, really good, and then something like got triggered or something and it just turned really, really physical. The baby, in the baby daddy's video, Jaquan's video, he said that she felt like she was provoking him, and that he was moving out where they were staying at, and then he mentioned how she funded their lifestyle. But even though we kind of already knew that, because I'm pretty sure that she's opened up in previous months or times that that she's paid for his stuff. Like, she's paid for a lot of things for him. She was basically the breadwinner. He was basically like a bum. When they found out who the actual baby daddy was, everyone was like, what is that? It looks like he came out of a sewage, like sewer. Like the way he looked, it's giving stinky. It's giving stinky. It's giving I mooch off of people. And when I saw him and I saw her, and I'm like, what did she see in him? Like, what was it that drew her to this man to make all this shit happen? You know what I mean? But yeah, he was saying in the video that, I mean, when he was in the car, he questioned why, like, if a woman would stay with someone if they were beating them, why would they continue to stay with him? Basically to redirect the situation off of him and make you guys question why you would stay with someone if they are harming you. which is basically, what is it called? Not taking the blame, basically taking the blame, but not taking accountability for his situation. And he basically doesn't even mention how it even started, what made her get so upset in the first place. He just goes straight into oh well, she's the aggressor, she's the one that provoked me, but we don't know what led up to that. It doesn't just happen on a random like Tuesday. It's just, you know, things lead up to that. And also, like, it could have been something that was triggered that made her want to do that. So also, he states in the video that he was never physical with any woman, and that his mom basically raised a gentleman that doesn't hit women, and this and the third. And this is what I want to say in the nicest way possible. Your mother raised a bitch. Like, there's no nice way of saying it, but that's the nicest way I can say it.
Currently moving out the house. Now y'all know if I beat a woman, I wouldn't be having this gas. So Morgan tried to provoke me. I wouldn't let her provoke me. So to all you guys who follow her, I don't want to mess up my kids' money, so please always support Gigi. But Morgan, you guys have gave her too much leeway, and somebody has to put an end to it. And I will accept that responsibility. I love her so much as a person, but I'm done getting abused from this bullshit. I came back to give her a family that she begged for, she paid for, and I'm done packing my shit up. Lord knows I want to call the police, but I'm not. See you guys. And those who do know Morgan, we know she's gonna try to post and say, I whoop her ass, I do, etc. The grown people in her comments, or that follow her, or that have kids, or that is a mom, you should ask her this question. So you mean to tell me you stayed with a guy this long that beat your ass, quote unquote, take your money, etc., whatever you want to say? My mom raised a gentleman, bro. I was raised by my mom. I'm not gonna get physical with a woman. I'm not gonna do any of those things, right? But women cannot provoke men. I already have a police complaint with Woodhaven police department that I called first. She did not never call. I have a complaint in their system. So I'm just done with all that playing on my mental, my manhood. I'm gonna go out here and get my money on my own. It was nice while it was lasted. I love my child, and it hurts me so much to get so close to my kid and have to like leave them. And then they would say that you're disabandoning, you're doing all type of things. But man, look at my eye, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you threw the same picture that I went out my way to go have us a nice night to go by. You threw that shit in my face, all because I would not argue with you and because you're on your period. You guys, get out of it before it's too late, before it gets this deep. You will not hear me speak on this situation anymore. I'm done. I'm going back to Georgia. Follow me on YouTube, Instagram. We're going to keep this going. I'm going to shine and be the light that I was. She was dimming my light. She always have, even from day one, calling me a random guy from Atlanta. None of my kids' mothers really identify with the story that she said. They might have came on here and played, but they do not identify with what she says. I don't care if I make the smallest amount in a month. I always send my money to my kids. And the ones that I don't get to talk to, I'll cross that road when I get there with their parents.
I find it odd that he was like, I'm gonna stop addressing this situation. But he makes little like videos about the situation, said situation, to make a profit off of it. I actually found his TikTok yesterday or the day before, and I was like, okay. Every other video is basically talking about, you know, the situation, and that men can be victims too, which they can be in this situation. I don't think he's the victim, especially with things that I've heard with the video with Morgan. I don't believe he's the victim. And I'm just gonna get into that. I also was looking at his TikTok, and I noticed that I feel like he uses Gigi and Morgan, of course, to get a lot of views and use them as a financial gain. Because if he's by himself, he doesn't get a lot of traction. They kind of are like, who is this? You know what I mean? But if it's with Gigi and it makes him look like he's a good father, anything of the sort of that, he gets a lot of views. Especially if it's with Morgan, because everyone knows who Morgan Bailey is, so they're just like, oh, I want to see how they interact with each other. So of course it's going to be interesting to watch, but I feel like he used this opportunity to get financial gain, because clearly rent is due. So really weird, sick way to think, but I could just tell by the motives and how he talks about things and how he doesn't really take accountability for things. He kind of just like points the fingers at everyone else. Like, he's just so quick to do that. It's just a very, very narcissistic thing to do. But Morgan posted her video of her side of the story, and she came out with a lot of receipts, and she also showed a lot of proof of a lot of markings that he left on her with that last altercation that they had like about a week ago. Very transparent, like she always is, very honest, and where she went wrong and stuff like that.
I've debated making this video all night long. There's a couple things that I want to clarify. The biggest one being how uncool it would be for me to come on this app and act like a black man in America in 2024 has put his hands on me if that's not the whole 100% honest to God truth. And honestly, his videos have finally pushed me and encouraged me to just say what's been happening and call it a day. I genuinely have had tears in my eyes all night long because I have to do this, but at the end of the day, Jaquan, we all know that I have been physically abused for months on end. I mean, dragged across the house by my hair. I mean, headbutted. I mean, bruises on my body, on my ribs. At one point for a while, you got very smart and you told me you would only punch me in the back of my head because people wouldn't be able to see the bruises on me then. I came on this app with pimple patches all over my face, trying to act like my acne was so bad from using a new product, when in all reality, we knew that you drew blood all over my face and all over my chin, especially last night. For the first time ever, I was the one who provoked you because I have had enough. I've been fed up, and I've always wondered, why don't people just leave when they're in situations like that? Until I was in a situation I didn't understand, and you will not understand, and I'm hoping that a lot of you guys out there do not understand. But I will say that after so long, you really get tired of being somebody's literal punching bag, especially when it is a man that is twice the size of you and a good 6 inches taller than you. See, two things can be true at once. Jaquan can post messages of me saying that I'm begging him to stay. That's true to a certain extent, but tell them why I'm begging you to stay. Tell them the reason that I beg to send you money. The reason why I beg to send him money is because he's consistently financially abusing me, and it has come down to the point where every single day of my life, if I don't send Jaquan what he wants, if I don't give Jaquan what he needs, he is going to post videos about me. I have a text message from him saying straight up he wants me to be working a 9 to 5, and that's what his end game is with me. This is one of the very few of them. I'm about to be fighting knots and bruises. I don't even know what I didn't buy him this time, but he told me straight up, hasn't smoked, so he wanted to do that, and if I didn't provide that to him, then he was going to beat my butt and pull off into the night like nothing has happened, which he has done plenty of times. Another one, you might as well go ahead and get ready. You know I'm about to beat the crap out of you. Another one, I'm so tired of you. You're a dumb B word. You're gonna get beat to death playing with me. Says, send me the money. You fail to realize you'd rather get me food, shut the fuck up, or get your ass beat. Honestly, I have gotten so used to these messages that they weren't even triggering me or warning me to wake the fuck up and stand up. I have gotten very used to this toxic situation. I don't know how or when I became so used to it. I don't know how or when I became such a pushover, but that is my fault and my fault only, and I'm taking accountability for that, because had I not let him back in my life the first time, I would not be in this situation. And I genuinely don't know where it came to the point where I just was such a pushover to just do whatever he wants just for the sake of not getting beat, knowing that my kid doesn't have to see me get beat, and just having a peaceful night. So yes, you can absolutely pull up your Cash App right now and see so much money was sent to you, but we also need to talk about the money that you've stolen from me. We also need to talk about the money that you have said, if you don't send me 5K right now, if you don't send me 3K right now, if you don't send me 2K right now, I'm posting videos of you, I'm leaking nudes of you, I'm taking you down. Again, I don't feel sorry for myself because I shouldn't have let him back to see his kid in the first place, and that's on me. But I can't even explain or begin to explain what it feels like to have had so much money ripped away from me, because he knows every single time that we break up or every single time that there's drama, he can get money out of me. But I do want to make it very clear that I have never sent anybody $20,000 to leave any type of family, ever. I hadn't sent Jaquan any money before he came to Michigan, except for some gas money to get here.
Also, like, has a thing where he demands money, a certain amount of money each month, and he gets like really mad at her if he doesn't get it. She posts like a message thread of their conversation, and it's him demanding more and more money and him threatening to hurt her when she doesn't give him that money. He also had links to her bank account, so he knew her bank account info. So he would take thousands upon thousands upon thousands away from her and send it to someone else so she wouldn't be able to get it. He would also, whenever she wouldn't give him the money, he would try to threaten her to harm her over these minuscule things. She also states in the video that she never sent money to anyone to break up a family, because I do remember people were saying that she was sending money to so she can be picked as the baby mama that he wants to be with or something. And I never knew if that was true or not, but I did find out that he was the one that started that or something. But she was saying that she was taking accountability, and how she was saying that like she would beg him to stay and try to like keep the family together. Clearly her baby daddy is a narcissist, whether it's diagnosed or not. The signs are there. And what I don't really like is that a lot of people, especially people that are survivors of DV, were not siding with her because of the whole money situation, the fact that she was sending money.
I'm sorry, but I have to say it. I do not feel bad for Morgan from Random Man in Atlanta. As a survivor myself, I did go back to a man time and time again. But one thing I did not do was pay that man to be with me, when that man already had 7 children and was with another woman. You paid to break up an entire family. And I am in no way saying that she deserved any of her, but we as women need to hold each other accountable for our actions. Our actions not only have consequences for us, but also for our children. So before you want to go ahead and hand over the blessings that God gave you to a literal demon, because you're thinking about yourself and how you feel and not the stability of your child, because girl, you knew that man with 7 children wasn't stable. Don't come on the internet and cry boohoo when he robs you blind. He literally beat you up and took your money. So make sure the place that you're competing for, ladies, isn't last place. You wanted so badly to take him away from the other BM. You fought so hard for that place, fighting for a fool's place, and you certainly got it at the expense of your daughter.
Like that girl was a low-key victim blaming. I don't really like saying, but I feel like the girl that was a DV survivor was victim blaming, because I feel like Morgan was, one, scared for her life, and that's why she kept giving him money to not cause argument. She did, clearly, I could tell that she wanted a family. Everyone obviously wants that when they have kids, to have a family. That's why you make them, to have a family. In all actuality, everyone in the back of their head is always like, I hope this works and I hope that we can have a family. And I think that's what she wanted in the end. I think we should get the narrative out that she paid a bunch of people to ruin a relationship, because she already said that she didn't do that. She said it in the video. So we have to get that out of the gutter. And also, everyone always says, you know, if that was me, I would never let that happen until it happens to you. And I find it really annoying that everyone is just kind of like, not, you don't have to side with her to about the situation, but I feel like there is an issue with lack of empathy in this situation. It is a very unfortunate thing, especially since Gigi witnessed it, because she did say in the video that Gigi witnessed her getting beat, and I don't know if it was several times or if it was just that one time, but even if it's several times or one time, it's traumatizing, because once you start remembering things, it goes back to like 4 years old, and she's gonna be starting to remember things and start recollecting things, recollecting things from when she was little, and be like, I remember this. And yeah, it might be fuzzy, but trauma doesn't really go away. And seeing your mom get beat by your dad, like, that is traumatic, especially since like she probably felt like super alone. And I feel like, you know, her even coming out was very brave, because whenever, especially with the status of her, she probably knew that she was going to get a lot of shame from it. But it's always brave of people to talk and speak up about these things, because not only it brings awareness, but it also exposes a person and makes them hold themselves at they don't ever take accountability, but it makes them be held accountable for their actions. I don't feel like her throwing a picture was a good, like, it was morally wrong, because it makes her look bad. It makes her look like the aggressor. And you know, if you've been with a narcissist, they will try to find ways to trigger you and get you to react so you can look like the bad person, so they can go back to whoever to be like, yeah, they're the bad person, because I've lived it, I've gone through it personally for a very long time, and it's very, very traumatic, and it's very sad, and it makes you really, really have like trust issues with people when they do shit like that, honestly, especially if you lived in it for so long. But I've learned in therapy that narcissists love reactions. They thrive off of the little bit of attention, even if it's like negative, positive, especially negative attention. They don't care as long as it's attention. They like that because it gives them more time to find ways to control you and trigger you. What would have happened, honestly, which, you know, this is your decision if you want. She should have taken it legally, because if it was taken legally, then we would not be where we are today. Restraining order, you know, full custody, all that stuff, those things are important. And what is it now? The doorbell keeps ringing and I'm getting annoyed, but I don't feel like what she did should have been, it's not right, and I don't condone any type of violence, but I get why she did it. It comes from a place where you're just tired and fed up with the maltreatment. Because also I learned that narcissists are not really happy. Even if you try to please them, even though she freaking did all the things to please him, she still got the repercussions. It doesn't matter, because I've lived that and it sucks, honestly. Like, it does not matter. It also turns into like a people pleasing thing too. Like, you have to please them in order for them to not have a freak out and not have a tantrum, because it's better to please them instead of like arguing. And it sucks to live like that, and also to walk on eggshells, and I'm sure she felt that way. So now I noticed that people were making a bunch of compilations of her by herself and with Jaquan, whatever his name is, and they're noticing that like there is visible marks on her, and it's depressing to see. You don't ever want to see a woman or anyone, a man, woman, whatever, be in that type of situation. I see why she did it. I feel like she did it for self-defense, and that she was just fed up and tired. And I also kind of feel like that with a lot of people, like you just want it to stop and it just keeps happening. And yes, she let that man into her house, but also you have to learn that, like, I know that a lot of people were like, why do you keep going back? Why do you keep going back? I don't know if you guys know the statistics, but a lot of people go back to their abusers. It's Stockholm syndrome a lot of the times, or they're fearful of their lives. It's a very, very, very common thing to go back to their abusers. It's an unfortunate thing. It's not that they want to, it's just they feel like that's all they know. But I feel like we should be showing empathy in this situation instead of tearing her down while she's already down. Talking about something as serious as that is already scary enough. Whether you have a little following or a big following, it's scary because you don't know what people are going to say, and it can make it worse, it can make it better. Like, we don't know. But we already knew that he wasn't a good person, because it looks like he doesn't even take care of his kids, and it just looks like he uses Gigi for content because everyone knows who Gigi is. I don't know how many times it takes a normal person that goes through an abusive relationship to leave, but it comes down to the person and how bad they want to leave. Even though it is scary, it's always worth it. I always feel bad for the people that weren't able to leave, and they do end up like unalives. I always feel bad. I remember, I think it was like a few months before I moved out of California, and I remember going to Kaiser, And on the first floor, I think it was like after one of those sessions, those group therapy sessions I had when I was like 17. And I remember going downstairs. I think we were about to go upstairs in the elevator. And I remember seeing all the women that passed away from the DV. And there was just a bunch. And they were like young. They were like as old, like the same age as my mom. And it was just heartening. Like, it was basically a shrine of women that passed away from the hands of their partners. And that was always one of my fears, to see that from someone that I cared about. I hope that she doesn't go back to him, and I hope that she actually just remembers this time as the last time, because I feel like if she does choose to go back to him, I feel like he will do a lot worse. Even though this was already bad, I feel like he will do worse, because we can already see what he's capable of. And he's pretty, like, he does not take accountability, and I feel like he will try to hurt her permanently. And no one wants to see that on the news, and it's always heartbreaking to see, honestly. You're more likely to die from the hands of a person that you know versus someone that you don't know. And most of those cases are situations like this. I'm gonna end it here. I said a lot. I'm supposed to be studying. I have my final exam tomorrow, and I'm very petrified because this can make or break me. And I've worked my butt off in history, actually every class I'm in, honestly, and I'm really hoping and praying that I don't have to take this again, because I already have to see my history teacher next semester, and I don't want to see him an additional time, you know, because like I had to deal with freaking pity jokes. I had to deal with a lot of sex jokes with him, and mind you, he's 70, and he talked about his ex from the Netherlands. Like, this bro, like, why is that relevant to history? So I have to hear that bullshit all over again for the next 4 or 5 months. And I don't want to hear that an extra 4 to 5 months. So I've been trying to study so I don't have to see him an additional time, because there's not a lot of history teachers on my campus. It's just very ghetto. Honestly, it's extremely ghetto. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts. I love to hear you guys' thoughts whether it's here or Instagram. I'm always open for discussion. I love talking to you guys, so make sure you let me know your thoughts. If you guys enjoyed, bye.